I used to look to sex for salvation. I wanted it to liberate me from loneliness, to find freedom in the arms of another. But the search failed. My college sweetheart dumped me. I found a rebound to feel better about myself and hurt her in the process. I then fell head over heels for the girl of my dreams at the time and spent the next 5 years pining after this friend who didn't feel the same. I wanted to feel wanted, yet wound up alone. Our culture looks to sex for salvation too. We want romance to free us from solitary confinement, to deliver us into a welcome embrace. A nobody can become a somebody, the myth goes, if you just find the right person. Yet the search often leads to sadness. The lover lets you down. The rapturous embrace starts to suffocate. The emotional high crashes and burns. Idolizing sex results in slavery. You can chart up your long list of ex-lovers and join Taylor Swift in telling the newest applicant, "I've got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name." You can find yourself in the Egypt of a new romantic wasteland, more cynical and isolated than when you first began. Yet I've discovered a crucial corrective in the gospel that can lead us out into true freedom. Sex wasn't designed to be your salvation, but to point you to the one who is. Union with Christ. Sex is an icon of Christ and the church. In Ephesians 5, a Hall of Fame marriage passage, the Apostle Paul proclaims, "For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and the two will become one flesh." This is a profound mystery, but I'm talking about Christ and the church. Now, the context here is marriage. Leave and cleave is marriage language. We'll look at this in a future chapter. And the surrounding verses are all about husbands and wives, not hookup culture. Yet that second part about the two becoming one flesh is consummation language that refers to the union of husband and wife. Paul says both are about Christ and the church. This should be shocking. It's not only the giving of your vows at the altar, but what happens in the honeymoon suite after that speaks to the life you were made for with God. A husband and wife's life of faithful love is designed to point to greater things, but so is their sexual union. We'll get to marriage soon enough in this book, but let's start with this gospel bombshell. Sex is an icon of salvation. How? I'd suggest the language of generosity and hospitality can help us out. Generosity and hospitality. Generosity and hospitality are both embodied in the sexual act. Think about it. Generosity involves giving extravagantly to someone. You give the best you've got to give, lavishly pouring out your time, energy, or money. At a deeper level, generosity is a giving of not just your resources, but your very self. And what deeper form of self-giving is there than sexual union where, particularly for the husband, he pours out his very presence, not only upon but within his wife. Hospitality, on the other hand, involves receiving the life of the other. You prepare a space for the guest to enter your home, welcoming them warmly into your circle of intimacy to share your dwelling place with you. Here again, what deeper form of hospitality is there than sexual union where, particularly for the wife, she welcomes her husband into the sanctuary of her very self? Giving and receiving are at the heart of sex. Now, obviously, a man and woman both give to each other and receive from each other in the sexual act. Sex is mutual self-giving. Yet, on closer inspection, there is a distinction between the male and female sides of the equation. The Bible makes this distinction explicit. The most frequent Hebrew phrase for sex is, literally, he went into her, wayabo eleha. Translations often soften this for modern ears, saying he made love to her or they slept together. But the Bible is less prudish than we are, using more graphic language to describe what happens in the honeymoon tent. One Sunday morning, I learned how graphic this language can be. My friend Karen was publicly reading scripture for our church service, and we'd recently switched to a more literal Bible translation. We were in Genesis 29, where Jacob marries Leah and Rachel, and the phrase wayabo eleha shows up, we discovered, a lot. Karen has, you might say, a rated G personality, very prim, proper, and polite. And we all saw her cheeks turn bright red with a lot of awkward pauses as she had to continually read the phrase, and Jacob went into her over and over again. After that Sunday, we went back to a less wooden translation and laughed a lot with poor Karen.